Now we will have a brief panel discussion based on the three presentations made by the lady and the two gentlemen earlier on community initiatives towards peace and harmony. And I would like to invite Venerable Sheehan, Mr. Scott McGrath, Mr. Barry Sheehan, Mr. Martell, and Mr. Muhammed Haniff to please proceed to the stage for the discussion. And if anybody who would like to ask a question based on the three presentations, please raise your hand and we will send you a roaming mic to ask the question. And I must say that this discussion must stop at 12 noon sharp, because at 1 o'clock sharp we are going to have a live media conference, video conference. And the Mayor of the city of Toowoomba, Queensland, will be joining us in this live conference, and we would like everybody to be back sharp at 1 in view of the time difference between Sri Lanka and Australia. The chairperson of this panel discussion will be Mr. Muhammad Haniff, Pure Land Learning College Association Incorporated. Would you please now proceed to the stage? Venerable Sheehan, Mr. McGrath, Mr. Barry Sheehan, Sally Martell, and Muhammad Haniff.
Now I'll try to maximize the time that we have within that half an hour, as our MC has mentioned about the importance of being back here by 1 o'clock so that we can see the live video presentation from Toowoomba, Australia. Now the three speakers that you see here, in the like of Barry Scott, Barry Sheehan, Scott McGrath, and Ali Martell, and assisted by Venerable Sheehan. Now, they have gone through this program with us, and they have covered certain aspects of the value of dialogues and also the power of the social media, as well as we talk about mobilizing community. Now, we don't have all the answers to that, but I can see something that is glowing in all of you here, especially our Sri Lankan brothers and sisters. I think you have lots of experience. You have gone through something which we don't experience in Australia, and that's a lot of things that in this short half an hour that you can help us also to give us your views and comments, as well as we are here to learn. As I said, we are here to learn, and we want to go back and pick up the richness that you have, the experience you have. And this is what a form of a dialogue where we exchange. I think, so take this opportunity, and I do hope that I'll leave that a lot to the question and answers. You may direct your question and answers, or if you have some views and comments, but try to make it short so that the opportunity for us to learn more. And as I say, what I see you in all of you here, I think you are a candle. A candle because you give light to everybody. And at the same time, you are sacrificing. So be that candle, be the catalyst. So when you go back, light up that candle and give that light to others towards this journey of peace and harmony. So I'll open to the floor for question and answers. Thank you.
So I'll kick off the questions. They may be a bit shy. I'm also from Toowoomba, from the Goodwill Committee, and I work closely with the people on the stage. But I just wanted to ask Ali, I haven't had much to do with Ali other than conversations on the flight or at the airport or in the bus. Your expertise is in social media and that. And as we all know, Facebook is quite a massive way to spread, because I'm getting messages from my kids now on Facebook The question I have, Ali, is how do we, as a community in Toowoomba and around the world, encourage younger people to understand and be a part more of multi-faith, multicultural dialogue, and how we can encourage them through media, make it more funky, more sexy, groovy, Gangnam style? How do we get the kids involved? And what's your opinion?
I think it's a really good question. Thank you, Tim. Oh, kids are a funny lot, aren't they? They're a bit fickle and follow fashions and fads and so on. I think, sometimes we might have to ask them that to see what they think is going to make it exciting. And we are planning a youth forum in Toowoomba. I think in December we're starting that, to start that dialogue with our young people. It also comes back to the education, and we have talked a lot about that. But I do think the schools and our education systems need to incorporate the best way to use Facebook, and also that dialogue and tolerance and so on. I don't know that our schools are doing it. I don't know, Barry might be able to help me out more with that. But in terms of making it funky and fun, yeah, I think we're going to have to ask them. They change every few minutes on what's funky and fun in fashion, and we might have to be a bit understanding in order to get them in. We might have to dangle a carrot or a lolly for them and bring them in, and I think we can do that.
I'm from Taiwan. We have a very good community, but in my impression, over the last decade, Taiwan is changing. It's not a pure land. And about the Toowoomba, I feel is a wonderful land. At least, finally, we can listen to the Armstrong saying there's a wonderful land. And your land seems to be pretty good. What we'd like to know is one of the media, from the people from media, and also a police office, and also someone working for the whole community. We would like to know what is a way to try to initiate the community go to the right land. And I think in my country there are too many logo jargon and try to bring people all together, but so many people has different kind of opinion. I noticed one of the keywords in your talk, you try to replace debate with a discussion without any bias. So that might be one of the steps to help people. And today we have the chance to review the multi-faith piece according to different background of the language or religion. But we would like to know what kind of activity you have initiated. Thank you.
In response to that, I think in our local area we have a number of different communities, and they are all individual. They all have their own, some are more wealthy, some are poorer, some have different religions within the area. I don't think we ever try to force them together as one. We try and go to their community and learn about them. And even through, I know the Goodwill Committee and the Pure Land College, they have a community meal where anyone can come. And I sit with people at that meal from a diverse range of communities and listen to their stories. But I don't tell them how they should do their business, but I get to know them. And I think you've got to be careful of trying to mould everyone the same. Everyone's different. So we need to gently get to know them, show them our ways. If they don't accept our way, we just if it's a good way we want them to learn, we keep encouraging them. I think I said in my speech, I can't change people, I can only change me. So I try and lead by example. Maybe that's the only thing we can do, I'm not sure.
Thank you very much. You asked a very good question there, our brother from Taiwan there. It's basically about, if you recollect, I think some of us were at the palace, at the presidential palace. I think His Excellency President Mahinda Rajapaksa did mention about constant dialogue. It's a constant need, constant and lasting needs, peace work. And we'll be glad to share with you later some of the initiatives which will be after the lunch. And we do hope that you join us, and that will be another opportunity for you. But meanwhile, if you picked up the book there, which we gave to you about peace and harmony, that somehow share a little bit of some of our work, of what we do and how we work, how we move towards this journey of peace and harmony. So thank you very much for raising that question.
Yeah, I just want to add an excellent question, and thank you for the question. One of the things I think that's happened in Toowoomba, I grew up in Toowoomba in the 60s and 70s, and I think one of the things that changed and is changing in this community is that we're becoming so much more diverse, so much more multicultural, and accepting that diversity. I mean, the Toowoomba that I grew up in the 60s and 70s, it was fairly sort of, well, to put it bluntly, fairly racist, really, and very, very conservative in its thinking. But the Toowoomba that we see now is becoming much more open, much more diverse, and I think it's a lot to do with a diverse range of sort of different cultures, different peoples. And when Mr. Haniff when I first met Mr. Haniff, and he said to me that the master's sort of goal was to make Toowoomba a city of peace and harmony, I said to Haniff that I think you should have started somewhere easier. Now, having said that, I think that we have moved a lot further, and I think it's a wonderful opportunity. And as I say, I think that the big sort of thing about Toowoomba is we're accepting diversity, accepting sort of accepting different peoples.
I think it's also because we have organized a lot of programs as well as lectures to understand people of different religions, and we have that every Saturday. People of different faiths come to the Pure Land Learning College Association to give talks on their own faith, and we go to meet them as well. So that's how we understand each other.
My question is concerning the dialogue. One speaker talked about the value of how you use dialogue to build peace or to conflict resolution. In my understanding, the dialogue, the phenomenon of dialogue faces two issues. One is dialogues is used, whether dialogue is used to influence the other person or to convert the other person to my position. So this is a sort of perennial issue inherited with the dialogue. The other is if you come to conflict resolution level or to dialogue in the context of seeking a solution for a conflict, then maybe sometimes people are attached or highly biased towards their own position. In that case, we cannot find a solution. So in this type of context, your education, how do you face to remove this type of difficulties we always face in international or national level issues? How do you overcome this type of difficulties?
Where are you, Sayed? I can't see you. It's not Sayed. I thought it was. Thank you for the question. Look, I think it starts with self. Like, if you look at the difference between dialogue and debate, debate is one is defending one's own beliefs at all costs. Where dialogue, I'm saying, hey, there's an opportunity for you to add to my sort of belief system, to add value to it, to improve it, to enhance it, and so forth. So I think it needs to start with ourselves. We all need to be, if I am open to dialogue and open to sort of you sort of adding value to my own belief system, then we've got an opportunity. If every single person did that, then the world would change. I mean, but really we only got to start with ourselves. If I start with me and you start with you, someone else starts with him or her, then we've got a chance. But the bottom line is, it's got to start with self. And if every one of us just focused on dialogue, rather than debate, rather than discussion, I think we would have a different world.
I'm not sure whether this is exactly along the lines of what you asked, but in my role in the community and even as a father, I deal with confrontation. Now, dealing with confrontation when two people are, if we are both angry or emotive, we will never get anywhere. It just escalates, it goes up. We need to separate sometimes, to have time, to think, to cool down, and then maybe try dialogue again at a different time. So we will encounter people that always go upwards. They don't want to dialogue at that level. And again, we can't change them. We can only be persistent, give good examples, maybe try and encourage another dialogue at another time to try and do that. But if I go to their level and am angry as well, we will never, ever achieve anything.
I think in that Mr. Haniff has shown us a good example because we do encounter certain groups whom, like on the first invitation, did not accept and come to do the dialogue. But Mr. Haniff was very patient, and he keep on, like maybe this time it doesn't work, he will ask the invitation second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time, until the person finally was moved by the sincerity. So it did work with, a few groups that didn't come at the first time. Yeah, so it's the sincerity that if they can feel it, we continue, they will accept it.
He wears them down.
A little bit of just a sharing. I think sometimes when you need to dialogue with a person, the most important thing is you don't talk to a person, you talk with a person. I think that's important. And secondly, sometimes it's a question of a comfort space. You need to create a neutral place. So most of them knows because my neutral place is just for a candid purpose. I always meet people in the coffee club because it's a neutral place. So there is no element of I'm trying to sort of change you, or I'm not trying to position myself or put you into my position. So I think it's basically about, as quite rightly Venerable Wu Chin says, and we are very fortunate. For me, I'm very fortunate because with Pure Land, we have a strong leadership in the like of Venerable Master Ching Kung, who is so humble, who is humble, who listens to you. And I think that sort of really, I would use the word stimulate. At the same time, it inspires many of us to be like that. Though, like Scott says, sometimes there is some element of anger because we cannot equate ourselves to him, where he has a lot of patience, but we are all still learning. So that's basically a little bit about our humble experience. So we still got a few more minutes. We like to take this opportunity. Like I say, we'd like to get your views. Pardon me if I sound a little bit. I think a couple of days I saw in the Sri Lankan media. I saw Your Excellency was having, I think, a pineapple juice. All right. and there a lady with a child talking to him. And I thought that is what we call a part of dialogue. See, if you look at it, for him to bring his level down, I'm sure if you go back to your media of the last few days, you saw that. So I picked that up. I said, this is wonderful. No, this is about communicating. He is talking with the lady, with the child, and not talking to the lady. And I think they communicate, and they have confidence of trust.
The wisdom about how to do this has been around for thousands of years. The great saints and sages have told us time and time again, millions of times, how to solve this problem. Because it seems to me where the stumbling block where it mainly falls down is that people don't think about, I've got to alter me. This is the stumbling block. People are very good at saying, oh, so-and-so should do so-and-so, or you should change your ways and do so-and-so, but people just don't seem to look inside themselves and say, this applies to me. I have to look at me to solve this problem. It's my problem, I am the problem, and I've got to look at me. To Ali Martell, how do we make that thought cool and funky on the media?
Thank you, Frank. I'm always amazed at what goes viral on YouTube, as many of you would be as well. And it sort of follows on from Tim's question, I guess. And I was sitting there thinking maybe there is something we all need to put our heads together on and get a YouTube message out there to go viral. It does seem to be a bit of a sort of a fashionable thing, but who would have thought Gangnam Style would have gone so crazy? Is everyone aware of that Gangnam Style? Gangnam? Oh, I can't even do it. You know, I think it's like a dance that's more popular than the Macarena and the Nutbush. It's gone crazy. And who would have thought that? And there are a couple of peace groups. So I think there is Change for Peace, is a musical group that goes around the world, and they get performers, street performers from all over the world, and they've put together some songs. And that has been very successful. That has had millions of hits on YouTube. And I guess, yeah, look at this room we have here. We've got a lot of heads here smarter than mine. We should get together and come up with something that we can do that goes viral. I would love to see that happen.
Regarding conflicts, now there are different religious leaders here. In my own country, we have different religions, and there are sanghas. They come from ascendants of Lord Buddha, and there are Christian priests and Muslim religious leaders. They all speak of one thing: loving kindness, peace, and brotherhood. So I think in my country, when there are conflicts, they go to the temple and they all sit together and pray, and the time solves the problem. And in the church, every Sunday, they go to the church and they do their confessions. And the Muslims, they get together in one plate, they all sit and eat. So this time solves the problem in most of the conflicts. And in my country, I think our leader had done a great deal by bringing all the religious leaders to the stage, and we were blamed as Buddhists. I am a Buddhist, saying that Buddhists are killers. And when I went abroad, I was scared to tell that I am a Sinhalese Buddhist because we were branded as killers. But there was no religion and no ethnic group involved in this 30 years of conflict. It's only a group of terrorists who has no sense of religion or their nationality. And now, thanks to the president, and we are in peace, and I have to give this message and ask one question from these leaders: a conflict, and there is a police officer, and my brother is also a police officer, and how you deal with conflicts when without people, with people who don't believe in any religions. That's my question.
I just need to clarify, I don't represent the police organisation here today. I represent a youth organisation.
I'm sorry.
That's fine, and I won't speak on behalf of you know, my police service. But can you just ask me the question again? Because I definitely I wanted to respond to it in a... Just ask me the last little bit of your question again.
There are people who don't believe in any faith, any religion. So when there is a conflict in such a person, how, in your personal experience, how you will advise us to bring them peace? That's my question.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
In your own field,
So
with your own experience.
Yes. So I work with young people through the police youth organisation. I work with young people, and a lot of those people, if I started talking to them about religion, they would not understand, or they may not listen. So I work with a lot of people sometimes that don't have faith at that point in their life. But it doesn't mean they're any different to people that do have faith. They just haven't discovered their faith. But they are still open to discussion when I talk with them and I build a relationship with them. So, and I think it's been said many times, inherently we are born with a kind heart. And I think deep down everyone wants that, to be loved, to be felt wanted. And once you start showing that to people, whether they have faith or not, it's a really good thing. It can change lives. So, does that help answer your question in one way that we might deal with it? Thank you.
You made a comment about some of the ignorance, I guess, about the conflicts here in Sri Lanka. And I've got a sense of that as well. I seem to have been misinformed, perhaps through the national or international media. I think there really is, it's a good time for the world to know all the good things about Sri Lanka. And maybe that's a suggestion I can make through some contacts even to the national media. I would love to see some features now written. I haven't seen any recently. I don't know whether you guys have or anyone has in the Australian newspaper or on TV about Sri Lanka. I think it's a good time to start putting the story straight and telling everyone how great it is.
I would like to ask a question. Lots of people, I mean, all of you spoke about media, using multimedia to promote, you know, like faith, peace among religions, like various cultural and ethnic groups. But also there's a problem, like in several, media. They sometimes use, media to like insult most of the religions. Like if you take examples like that, recently they caused a huge problem, this innocence of Muslims. And then there was this Da Vinci Code, the conflict regarding that book. And also like on FB, there are like several pages where you get, you know, slandering various religious rituals. Recently we had a conflict over like Hindu, some sort of sacrifice. So you say like, you can use media to like bring peace. But what sort of idea do you have regarding preventing this sort of conflicts? I mean, creating such issues in the society, because sometimes these things are unwanted, because most of the times a few people, a group of like a small group of people create huger problems. I mean, they bring these things into our attention, and then we also think, okay, this is a problem. But it didn't come from us. It just comes from somebody else. Maybe it's a political reason or something personal. So what do you think about that? How would you prevent such an issue? Thank you.
There's a couple of things you've raised there, and that is, as you say, issue. We have a thing in Australia called issues and crisis management. I couldn't go through all the steps involved in that, but really probably at a high level, there needs to be an issues management plan, crisis management plan drawn up to preempt what is happening so you can address those sort of issues quickly. Got to be knocked on the head really quickly. You've got to be prepared for those kinds of things in a communication sense. I also wanted to say, though, that in Australia, for example, we do have legislation, anti-hate legislation. We are not allowed to say hateful things about people's religion. Not at all. It's quite serious. And I think media would probably lose their licence or be fined or something. It's quite a serious offence. And I think also, Australians have a bit of a sense of, and I'll use an Aussie term, fair go. I don't think that would the media certainly would not get away with that sort of open criticism. It's just, I don't think it would happen to you guys. No. So Australian government has legislated against hatred, messages of hate, not allowed to happen. But as I said before, there is always going to be negativity in the world. It is up to all of us to promote that positivity. So when you see something negative on Facebook, when you see seeds being sown, I think that's the time to nip them in the bud. And if those seeds are being sown on Facebook, you've got to tell the managers, and you can do that. You can have Facebook sites taken off. We had an incident in Australia with a young girl who was murdered, and the Facebook pages that happened around that were trying to support her, but in a case of law, it meant that it was going to damage the case against the murderer. It's a bit complicated, but those Facebook pages were taken down. Okay, people were trying to show their support for the girl, but it ended up in a big mess. So those pages were removed, and I think the people who run Facebook are getting better, getting better at that.
Yes.
Just as an example, we had an incident in Australia recently where through, I think it was through the internet, whether it's YouTube or whatever, there was some quite, I think, racist sort of things presented on the Facebook, on the YouTube, which created problems in our community, and there was some people that took offence to that and then took that to violence in the street. Now, when that happened, it attracted a lot of media attention as well, that these people had become violent in our community. When that happened, I know that there had already been interaction between the many faiths, and those leaders of those faiths quickly went to the media with other community members and spoke about it in a positive way, that the people that were on YouTube were not representative of those of their religion and those sorts of things. So those leaders were trying to make corrections and show the rest of the community that this is not the views of everyone, which made a big difference. They were able to come forward. There was already that established networks and trust. So the leaders came together and were able to put their message across, which helped in that instance. Had we not had those connections with those leaders, or they didn't have the opportunity to come forward, or they didn't access the media early, we may have had further problems. But it was through dialogue, I think, that it helped.
After 30 years ago, we are happily, we have a conference here, Interreligious Faith. We are thanking our president. And we saw today discussion, that's Australia from the special envoy and police organizer, one of the gentlemen, and one of the madam. So really, we happy we share our some idea got from you, and I saw the nice pictures from the Queensland that picture, but that madam also mentioned we are seeing the news, happy news only that make it a psychologist 10. We are accepting. When we are really before 30 years, we saw the paper killing and kidnapping like that. Now everything is over. We are happily seeing in our newspaper. Now Sri Lanka going up high level, and Sri Lankan, our president also has idea to make a Sri Lanka in first in Asia level. That is our excellency aim. And that is the reason also our president believing our religious tradition. He excellency appointed Buddhist coordinator Galagamatero, and Christian coordinator with Father Hettiarati, and Islam coordinator Dr. Hassan Maulana, and Hindu, myself, I am the Babu Sharma, Hindu religious coordinator. Really thanking you. This is the first time. In future also, we are happy to see like this dialogue to make peaceful and harmony life in Sri Lanka. Again, I am thanking on behalf of our multi-religious leaders. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much. I'll just quickly go back to the point about the media, although it's a bit, but our teacher, Venerable Master Chin Kong, did mention about the importance of religious education, meaning that each faith leaders as well as the people of the religion learning their own faith teachings in depth, as well as to know about the other faiths teachings as well, because it's through understanding that we are able to connect people together and be able to solve any misunderstanding or conflicts. So the media could be used in that way to have like 24 hours station, where the religious leaders of each faith can give the teachings and share the teachings to the public, so anyone can access the teachings. That would be a way to help the young people as well to learn about the teachings. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I know we have to, like I say, we have to be back here before 1. So we thank all of you, and we thank the members of the panel, my colleague, that's Ali Martell, that's Barry, and Venerable Chin and Scott. And I tell you, you have a very wise leader in your excellency, and you are a blessed country for what we have seen. So we do hope that if we have the opportunity, we would certainly like to invite the 4 of your faith leaders to Toowoomba, Australia in the near future. We will certainly extend an invitation to you. Thank you very much, and have a good lunch. Thank you.